Jim from Scott Fly Rods to talk about the new G Series. Jim, this rod is amazing. We had the opportunity to cast it last week through Montana and Yellowstone and had an absolute ball with it. We're really interested to find out what's behind this rod, but perhaps you can tell us a little bit about the history behind the G Series first.
Oh, yeah.
And get into the background. We're trying to figure out just when the G started. It's been around for a long time.
It's actually the longest production fly rod in the history of the sport.
Right.
We started making G Series in 1976.
Wow.
And it was really a kind of remarkable way that the line came about. At the time, San Francisco was sort of the epicenter of the fly fishing universe. You had the Golden Gate casting ponds, the Ray Jeff brothers were growing up, becoming champion casters. Winston fly rods, Scott fly rods were based there.
So it was a real melting pot.
Yeah, it was a real melting pot, a lot of activity going on. And Scott started as a specialist in multi-piece fiberglass fly rods. And that was the material of the day. And then in around 1975, this new material called graphite came on the scene. Fenwick was leading the industry at the time, and they brought out the world's first graphite fly rods. But what they did was they just took that material and made the same kind of rods they were doing with fiberglass out of graphite. So short rods like 7.5 foot 5 weights, things like that. What Harry Wilson, the founder of Scott, what his great idea was, and the thing that really launched the company, was he saw this material as an opportunity to make a long light line rod. And so he went to the casting ponds to announce to everyone that he was going to build a 9 foot 4 line rod. And they said, "You're absolutely crazy. That's going to be terrible. It can't be done." And a year
Who would have thought a 9 foot 4 weight?
And so a year later, he introduced the first G Series with the 9 foot 4 line rod. And it revolutionized spring creek fishing on places like Armstrong's and Henry's Fork and Hat Creek in California. So now long leader, light tippets, and small dry flies were a real possibility. So it was really cool. And
there's a lot of DNA in the history of this rod, really.
So much for not only our brand, but actually the industry as well. And I think it was around 2005 or 6, we came out with the G2, which was a whole modernization of the medium action presentation style rod. And compared to the old G's, it was much lighter, cast a flatter loop. But looking at it from today's standpoint and the technology we have available today, we thought if there was one thing we could do to this rod to make it better, it would be to stabilize the tip. Because one thing with medium action rods that happens for a lot of people is the tip can get a little wiggly and wobbly, which can cause, when you stop the rod on your forward cast, you get some secondary bounce, and that can cause shock waves in your loop, sometimes tailing loops for people, and those all rob you of accuracy and distance. So we said, hey, if we can keep a nice full flexing medium action, yet stabilize the tip so that it casts a nice tight flat loop, we'd really have something.
Best of both worlds.
And so there's 2 ways that we went about trying to accomplish that. The first is we redesigned our hollow internal ferrule. We re-engineered it. And but we by using some of the technology we've developed in rods like Radian and Meridian, we were able to make this much thinner walled, about 20-25% lighter, but more flexible and equally, if not stronger, to the old one. So we took a lot of mass and stiff joint. And then the second thing we did was we, again, using a lot of the things we learned designing Radian, we took our multi-modulus layups where we used different types of material in different sections of the blank to really fine-tune that flex. And so we were able to keep this rod extremely light, full flexing, and pretty stable. So it's cool. It's cool.
It's very cool.
We're excited about it.
What sort of fishing situations do you see this playing out in?
Well, my favorite place to use these personally, and what I think of them mostly, is a walk and wade rod. So if you're gonna go out and throw big streamers out of a drift boat, I'd probably take a different rod. But when you're gonna go stalk a fish on foot and get in tight and put a really nice presentation on them, this is the rod I want in my hands. So Fantastic.
Well, if you're after the best mid-action rod arguably in town at the moment, get yourself a Scott G and check it out. This is Fly Life TV.
Thanks so much,
a lot,
Leighton.
Jim.
It was awesome.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks.